So what do you do when you have to go back and work on something that you kind of had to step away from? That's a good question. So, for those of you that don't know, I wrote this little beauty a couple years ago, and best way I could tell you, it's cartel and mafia. And if you've ever seen La Reina del Sur or The Queen of the South, you would love this. It's very much inspired by that and gives off a lot of those vibes, especially the cartel vibes. So, and this is only part one. So it was pretty interesting because this came to me while I was watching an episode of Blue Bloods, of all things. What's her name? Donnie Wahlberg's partner, the chick with the black hair, the one that's smoking hot. She said Mexican mafia in one of her lines, and it's just like, Mexican mafia? Is that really a thing? I mean, I'm Hispanic. Don't I know about this? And I went in and did a little research and discovered it's not. It's a prison thing. But it did get me interested, and thus this was born. So to give you a little background on this baby. It is about a woman named Sindel who has been on the run since she was 16 years old from her mafia father. She never knew she was a mafia princess until something really important and sad happened to her right after she turned 16. And I can't spoil it, so you have to read about it. And it's also about a man named Raul. And Raul is a new and upcoming cartel boss of a cartel called Los Hijos del Diablo, the Sons of the Devil. And as you guess, cartel means very dangerous. And the basic premise of this is exactly what the title implies. There is a war between the cartel and the mob. And Sindel, my main female character, is in the middle of it. How does she get in the middle of it? Well, basically what happens is that she's just there. Raul wants revenge for an incident that happens to his family, and he goes after the people behind it, who happen to be the Italian mafia. And the one person who's missing from this puzzle is Sindel. So he goes after her, kidnaps her, and it all ensues. That's all I can give you without spoiling it. It all ensues. Like I said, very much Queen of the South, La Reina del Sur vibe. So you've seen it, and then you got a little idea of where I'm going with it. I can't give you too much. And I left part one on a pretty good cliffhanger for those of you who haven't read it. And if you haven't read it, go read it on the Kindle Unlimited. And for those of you who used to read Kindle Bella, it was featured on there. So you may have heard of this. Regardless, go check it out. But since people loved it, especially on Kindle Bella, I was like, all right, let's get part 2 out. And I wrote about halfway through of it, and I hit some pretty harsh burnout. Like, wow. I was not able to do much for several months, maybe even a year. A lot of it had to do with health. I had surgery for my health, and I won't get too much into that, but it was for the better. Anyway, during that time, my heart wasn't in it, and I focused on Valkyrie, which you guys will be reading about either later this year or early next year. I haven't decided on a date yet. I'm still working on the first draft. First draft is done. Don't get me wrong. It's Next is edits, but I like to take a little break, which is what a lot of authors do, and I highly encourage you to do it as well if you are new and coming on. You don't want to dive right in too quickly after you finish the initial story. You want to let your mind refresh. I said refresh. You want to let your mind refresh. You want to refill that well, as Sarah Cannon says. I think someone else says it too, but I've heard it from her. So credit to whoever originally said it. Anyway, after I finished Valkyrie, I knew I needed to take a break and dive into something else because I still wanted to be productive. So I went ahead and started reading Mob War Part 2. And damn, I could not put this story down. It took me a couple weeks to read through it because, I had to go to work and I had to do other stuff, but it was hard to put it down. It was seriously hard. It's like, wow. I put these words to page kind of thing. Wow. And then I got to the final chapter I wrote, and I was like, holy crap. I left it there. Of all places? What the fuck was I thinking? And yeah. And then I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Because I didn't write down what happens next. Now, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but just in case I haven't, I am mostly a pantser. I do plot some stuff. I'll cop to it. But I'm mostly a pantser. I like to write where I want the story to go. But I didn't write what was supposed to happen after that Cliffy. So I'm like, fuck! What the hell am I supposed to do? And yeah. It took me probably a good 2 weeks to figure out what was going to happen. I went back and forth. And initially it took me having to go back into the root of the story, root of my characters, Sindel and Raoul, root into the villains, root into the place, root into the cause, root into everything. And it just happened. It just clicked. One day when I was watching YouTube, it just clicked. And I wrote that shit down so I wouldn't lose it. And I did manage to get some words on the page that day as well. So that was good. That was really good. So I did write down my thoughts on it. Thought I'd read them to you. See what you think. Where is Mob War Part 2 going? I'm not sure how much time has passed since I last sat down and wrote in Mob War Part 2. But I did just reread it and discovered I wrote over 46,000 words. And damn, I couldn't stop reading. And I felt really positive about what I was reading. That all this came from me. It was honestly a wow moment. But what now? How do I continue this story? And everything else I wrote down is a potential spoiler, so I can't tell you. But yeah. How do I continue this story? Well, I've decided to give myself the majority of the summer to figure it out. So throughout the month of June, we are about 3/4 of the way through June. We got a week left. And the entire month of July, I'm going to be figuring it out. I'm going to be doing my damnedest to get it done because August 1st, I want to get the first round of edits started for Valkyrie. My book cover artist will be collaborating with me in September. So I want to at least have majority, if not all, the edits done for Valkyrie, at least in the first draft. That way I can go ahead and focus on that cover. So throughout the rest of this month and July, I'm going to be working on Mob War, trying to get it done. How many words? I don't know. I'm not giving myself a limit. Just the fact that I have 46,000 words so far is a freaking miracle. I didn't even think I had that many. I thought I had less. So It's always good to do word counts. Keep that in mind. I am going to be joining in on Sarah Cannon's Rough Draft Challenge for July. And she has tiers, which is nice. And I decided to join the diamond tier. The diamond tier just basically lets you put your own goal. And my goal is just going to be 31, meaning I'm going to be working from day 1 to day 31 of July. And that's it. No word goal, no chapter goal, just getting Mob War Part 2 first draft done. And honestly, I'm at a good point because I'm like this close to the climax. So it shouldn't be too hard. But then again, we'll see. But I felt really good with the rewrite. I felt really confident. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so to get very candid and real here, I've been having issues with finishing Mob War. I don't have that much to go in part 2. I'm at the climax of part 2. I'm in the final act. And I know the words are there. It's just, and the only thing I can attribute to this is that I'm feeling fearful. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm afraid to finish this book. I mean, I know there's going to be a part 3. And it's just, there's no way that there's not going to be a part 3 with the way I'm writing this. And that's completely fine. But I don't know where this fear is stemming from. I don't know why I'm afraid to finish part 2. I mean, I've gone over it. I've reread everything I've written. It's over 40,000 words that I reread, and the words are great. They kept me engaged. They kept me on the edge of my seat. They're exactly what I'm looking for. And I know how I want it to flow. I know where I want it to go. It's just, I don't know why I feel this feeling of fear. I don't know where it's stemming from. But I know that I do have to overcome it in order to finish it. So it's back to work I go, putting fear aside, kicking it in its ass, and getting this done. Because it is middle of July now, and I told myself I have to get this done by the end of July, because the rest of the year will be dedicated to another story. So I want to be able to get this done. I want to get 2 books finished this year. Will they be released? Probably not, because they all still need work, but at least get first drafts of 2 books done will be good. It's the goal. So the benefit is that Mob War Part 2 is this close to being done. And I don't know why I'm scared to get it done. I don't get it. But I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to finish it. One way or another, I'm going to finish it. And it is now several days later, July 17th. I finished on July 14th officially. So 3 days, whatever. And the first draft is done. Yay! And you know what? It felt good to get it done. I know the story still needs work, as most first drafts do, because come on. First draft is always a pile of blech. And that's where we shine, is where we go into the second draft, and then it's the third draft and fourth draft, and however many drafts are needed to make the bleh into la. Yeah, this is a part of my awkwardness. You'll get used to it. But yeah, it felt good to get it done. And so now that it's done, I'm going to push it aside like normal. And I'm going to go and start my edits for Valkyrie, which I will be showing. So with that, I hope you enjoyed. You got a first look at my B-roll, which I think I did okay. I'm going to be experimenting with that. I did actually like editing that part of it. So we'll see how much I get into it. But anyway, Mob War Part 2 first draft officially done. So that's basically it. If you made it to the end, thank you. I would appreciate if you subscribed, because my subscribers are, you notice I kept going, yeah. So subscribe, that would be nice. And also make sure to check out my newsletter, my Patreon, which is brand new. And it's completely free, so don't worry about having to contribute anything. And also, just come back, watch more videos. Thanks for being here. Bye.